Okay, everybody, we're looking at a lesson that is commonly known as FOIL, and really what it involves is multiplying binomials. So what a binomial is an expression like x plus 3 and x plus 2. We call it a binomial because bi means 2. And here we have two different expressions being multiplied together, or two different terms. So this is a binomial, and we have to figure out how to multiply these things. Well, before we do that, let's take a look back at the distributive property. So for example, if we had 4 times x plus 3, well, what would we do? We would take that 4x and we would multiply it with the first term. 4x times x would give us 4x squared. And then we would take it and we'd multiply it with the second term. So 4x times 3 would give us positive 12x. And that's how we would use the distributive property. This, however, is a little bit different because now we have two things that we need to be multiplying. So here's how we do it. If we had the expression x plus 3 times x plus 2, we are going to use FOIL. So the F stands for first. And what that means is you're going to take the first terms and you're going to multiply those things together. So that x times x is going to give us x squared. So after we've done that, now we can go to the O. The O stands for outside. And what you're going to do here is you're going to take your two outside terms and multiply them together. So we're going to take our x, which is an outside term, multiply it with our other outside term, which is a 2. So we get x times 2. That's going to give us positive 2x. Then we will move to our I. Our I stands for inside. So now we're going to take our two inside terms. So we take our 3 and our x, we'll multiply those things together. So 3 times x is positive 3x. And then we finish off with the L, which stands for last. So we're going to take our last term in here and our last term in there, multiply those things together. 3 times 2 is going to give us positive 6. And now all we need to do is just clean this thing up. X squared, nothing else we can add to that, so it's just x squared. 2x and 3x, we can add those things together. We'll get 5x and then plus 6. And we are done. So FOIL is the way we remember how to multiply these things. First, outside, inside, last. And that's all today's going to be about, making sure we have this skill down because it is a very important skill. So let's take a look at another one. Let's take a look at a more complicated one, maybe 3x minus 2 times, let's do 7 minus x. Okay, so we'll take a look and we'll use our FOIL. So we'll start with our first term. So first, 3x times 7 is going to give us 21x. And then we go to our outside, so the outside terms. So 3x times, and now you need to be very careful, that negative sign belongs to that x there. So we have times negative x. So 3x times negative x is minus 3, because there's no other number it's multiplying with, x squared. Do not forget that negative sign. Then we have our negative 2 times our 7, because we're on our inside step. Negative 2 times 7 is minus 14. And then we go to our L in our FOIL, which is last. So we take our last terms, negative 2 times negative x. Remember, that negative sign belongs to it. Negative 2 times negative x is going to give us positive 2x. And now we'll just clean up what's going on in here. Okay, I always like to order things based on like the highest exponent down to the lowest exponent. So we'll have negative 3x squared. There's nothing else that adds to that. 21x is going to add with 2x, so 21 plus 2 is going to give us positive 23x. And then this negative 14 is the only other thing we're missing. And that would be done as well. FOIL is always going to give you the right answer, and that makes it a very powerful skill. It's a very easy thing to apply once you do a lot of examples with it. The solution video is going to give you some more examples of ways to do this. There is one shortcut, however, and you don't have to use it. That's the beauty. If you want to use it, go for it. If not, don't bother. So sometimes you're going to get something that looks like this. Maybe something that looks like that. X plus 6 squared. So what that means, if you see x plus 6 squared, this squared just means this thing's multiplying with itself. That's what squared means. It's x plus 6 times x plus 6. So another way we could write that is we could write it x plus 6 times x plus 6. So I'm going to show you the FOIL way, which I will do over here, and then I'll show you the shortcut, which I'll do over here. For FOIL, we'll use our first x times x is x squared. Outside x times 6 is positive 6x. Our inside, positive 6x. And our last, 6 times 6, which is 36. Clean it up and we get x squared. 6x plus 6x is going to give us 12x plus 36. And we're good to go. Now there is a shortcut, however. The shortcut is pretty easy. If you want to go for it, go for it. If not, do not worry. 3 steps. Step 1, square the first term. What that means is you just multiply it by itself. Whenever anybody says square, it just means multiply it by itself. So x times x is going to give you x squared. Perfect. So we've squared the first term. Second step. Multiply the 2 terms together. Then double it. So we're going to multiply our 2 terms together. That would be x and 6. So we multiply those things together. X times 6, of course, gives me 6x. Then when I double it, double 6. So if we doubled 6, we get positive 12x. So I did x times 6, giving me 6x. Then I just multiplied it by 2. And that's how I got my 12x. And the third thing we have to do is square the second term. So we already squared that x. Now we're going to square the 6. So 6 squared, 6 times 6, gives me positive 36. And if you take a look, this is the exact same as that. So it's up to you. Do you want to use this shortcut? You can use this shortcut only if you have this squared here, but it might save you some time, although FOIL is also always going to give you the right answer as well. So whatever you'd like to use, that is completely up to you, but just make sure we are getting it right. So that is the key here. So whatever you feel more comfortable for, go for it. All right, make sure you are completing your quizzes, and we will see you tomorrow.